All right, so just for the next 13 minutes, I'm just going to work on documentation, give people a chance to join and whatnot, because I just posted the link. So if you're watching this video late, not live, skip ahead 13 minutes and you'll begin seeing development. Um, kind of early for me to get up recently. Oh, bear with me, I'm still a little waking up. So I'm just going to do some changes that have been mentioned for the documentation. Let's make a new change here for change log. This is asked times about what the version is. Understanding also something funny actually happened to me is I got a letter from one of my credit cards, and they said something like, in order to keep everything working or whatever, they need to validate the following information with me. And one of them was, well, actually, the only thing was social security number. So I looked at the letter, and it was all legit. All the links and stuff were legit, and I had no reason to think it was fake, and I didn't. I obviously did social security via, but it makes me wonder, did they lose my social security number? That mean that what I do is not tied to my identity credit card? I doubt that's the case, but that'd be kind of funny. All right, so remember the name of this versioning. Get a new browser. I don't care what's new in Edge. No one cares. Edge. Okay. I can't remember the name of it. But you got like a major minor and oh, it's right there. Major minor patch. There's a specific name for this. I guess a name. Capital in the middle. Oh my gosh, I'm still waking up. I don't know how to word this. Um, I do need something. Oh my god. Not translucent. One stupid page is taking longer than I expected. Something else I want to do for this. One thing I don't like about the editor. I don't know if that's always been there. Option. This is different now. You no longer have to update with a time delta. Edit. This is something that was brought up recently. Why I'm updating this. Explain why this changed. Okay. Timers must be updated on this. Timer may be updated method. Okay, so let's put that there. Not shown. You may also specify the delta by update. I'll put this. Want to. I'm going to put a little thing here. Info int. Not specifying a delta. Time passed altered by how long it took. Documentation right now. When not specifying a delta, the time passed is altered by how long has passed between calling update. Here is an example of updating while specifying time remaining update. Time so basically what happened though is basically what happened is you would pass in frame delta. That's how it was in the past, and that was before the edit. So you'd pass in delta here, but the problem is Unity caps the frame delta at a certain value. We'll say 300. So if your frame time was longer than that, such as if scenes or something or whatever it may be, it would only modify the timer by that cap, assuming that the frame time was longer than it. In result, the timer would be, let's say if it took 500 milliseconds, your timer is now 200 milliseconds behind. That's per instance that happens. Now though, it's all calculated internally, how long has passed since the last time you called this, and it works even with low frame rate. So as far as I'm already running low time. I'm not gonna have enough guide on backup of fish. What? Did I just edit the wrong thing? See, now this is why there doesn't seem any like simple way to test on a specific page. It's like kind of like an all or one, all or nothing. See all the changes. per revision, but you can't see when in. I think it's back. One minute ago. Why is this showing me the wrong? This is the wrong thing. Okay, so this is still right. Okay. Load. Load. Did not apply my. Okay, well I got 2 minutes until I have to start streaming FPSLand. A big FU to get booked. Total pain in the butt right now. Go ahead and start. I was just going image for the version change stuff here. Applicable. Now we're going. All right. So what I did recently, what I did yesterday, and this actually, I should probably update this in actual for FPSLand. Basically, I discovered that on lower tick rates, the weapons were firing at a slower time. Like it was taking longer to empty an entire magazine. Hey, what's going on? So I checked my code and I was indeed price ticks and I was rolling over price ticks, basically meaning that it was capturing the time between frames rather than ticks. So the ticks shouldn't have affected the fire rate. And that was all done properly. Long story short, issue up here. There's an issue here to where, let's say if you got a precise tick in the middle of a tick or sub tick, the elapsed time, which is how far you are into that tick, would be used to return like a password. And so like, let's say if this is halfway tick, let's say elapsed time is 15 milliseconds and a tick is every 30 milliseconds, then it would return basically 50% through that tick. Then what would happen is later, after 15 more milliseconds would pass, is it would be an actual tick. And when an actual tick occurs, time is subtracted from that pre-tick that fired, on tick, etc. So the main issue is that when I was trying to get the precise tick again using on tick, it was returning the same tick because the update happened inside the same tick, but the elapsed time was 0 basically, meaning a couple frames back it was showing about 50%, but then a couple frames forward when the actual tick occurred it was showing completely 0 on the, and that was causing a timing check. So all I had to do here was basically just, take the elapsed time bit that got removed and then just move the bottom after copy and paste. I moved it towards the bottom here after everything had ticked through. Another thing is you might think, well, why don't you increase the tick at the beginning instead of at the end? Yeah, that's another option. That'd work as well too. The only thing is I don't want to change that because there could be someone that's running code based off from where it's changed, or they might have some code that's intertwined in there, or cause a serious break, and it would be really, really, really difficult for that person to track down. So I'm not going to choose that. And also, this doesn't really hurt anything by running it at the end. That one little issue there causing issues. Anyway, so it's fixed now, and let me close out of that because that's okay. And I'm just going to show you here. So what tick rate? Let me see what tick rate I'm at. I'm at a tick rate of 60. Hold the fire button here, and if you hear audio in the background, I turned off. Go and do that now. Load. Alright, so I have a thing in the debug console there that you see. It says time passed 4.27 seconds. And time passed 4.2 seconds. And this is to empty the entire clip. And that's going to be pretty, as long as I'm holding the fire button. Now if I change my tick rate to 20, again, all right, 4.3 seconds. And again, 4.3 seconds. Now there is going to be some very, very, very light deviance and all because of frame rate. It's not really related to the fixed system. And obviously, if you're running less frames, there's going to be more time between the fact that your button is held. Nonetheless, though, you're talking a difference of like 20 milliseconds, or in this case, 20. Basically nothing, you know. So that's very well within acceptable. That was fixed. Let's go up to here and see what else has to be done. Fire rates, well, that's resolved now. So another thing that has to be fixed is that the grenades use RPC. Basically, that's just grenades aren't running. Not really a big deal. This I'd like to tie into replication, but probably after the. What it does though is it's pretty simple. Is a grenade is thrown. It's instantiated over the network. It doesn't use predicted spawning because it to. Simply because even if you have a ping of like 100, for example, you throw that grenade, it's going to have to like fly past the. Not going to really. You're not going to notice. What happens though is throw it, a message to the server spawns it, and then the updates are sent back via network transfer. I'm actually going to so you can see. I'm going to turn on clumsy. It didn't affect the stream. All right, so I'm running clumsy at 50 milliseconds both ways, which is going to be 15 seconds latency. Is the audio cutting out? Mic check. See what's going on. This microphone. Yes, I am aware. Well, it was turned down a tiny bit, but like not enough to matter. Oh, you know what? I wonder. Is this better? Is this better? Testing 1, 2, 3. Let me turn on my audio. I tested earlier and it was working fine. Let me just check something. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Oh yeah, I don't know why it was doing that. I don't know if maybe because the microphone has a volume control button on it too, and I don't know if it got bumped or what. I just turned it up slightly. Okay, so sorry about that. So going back here, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually show this because of the... Damn it. I can't click the client button because it's taking over the mouse control. Okay, I don't know if it's going to work because I haven't tested client alone yet. I've only been testing on client hosts. Obviously, I will later on, but yeah, I can't turn on client only. I don't know if this is going to work. So let me open up Clumsy here and it doesn't look like it's actually increasing my ping. It still says my ping is 1 millisecond. Let me try changing to IPv6. Sometimes that's what it has to do. Okay, that's weird. I don't know why it's not working. It could just be that the ping display is wrong. Yeah, so client only is a little freaking busted. So we're not gonna look at that. I'm not surprised though. Like I said, I've been doing client host only because I've reworked the whole replicate system. And when it comes time to testing client only, it's probably gonna be really small stuff, just like resolving the reconcile and whatnot. I doubt it's gonna be anything serious. So anyway, I guess I'll just show you what it looks like on client host. All right, so I'm gonna run over this grenade here, switch to it, and I'm gonna throw the grenade. And I mean, I realize it looks pretty solid there. Pay attention again to where the grenade kind of comes from my hand and flies out. And that's basically what clients are going to see as well. But what's really happening is, let me go find another grenade. I'll show you. Okay, I'm gonna try and, I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it here. Gizmos are on. So we're gonna try and see where the grenade goes from this. I don't know if it's gonna be possible, but we'll try. So I don't know if you saw that, but the grenade was actually more to the right than to where the fishnet icon was. Let me just boot that up again real quick. Get some grenades. I'm gonna grab a couple so I can throw a few just to show you. And this is a life lesson in game development. That's why I'm showing this so much. You're gonna be like, oh, okay. This is part of the fake it till you make it. And this is widely used in game development. Not everything has to be perfect. So notice when I throw the grade's gonna be more to the right of my character than where the actual fishnet icon is. You see that, how the visuals are off to the side? What's actually happening is the grenade is spawning in front of my camera. Just like if you're firing, you'd be firing from the front of your camera. Typically, it's a first-person shooter game. But that would look really weird if grenades are just flying out of your face, right? So what it does is it actually is a small, very simple piece of code that takes the grenade from its spawn position and offsets it slightly to where the arms would be, and then it just smooths it to the center, and also it gives it an arc. So it actually starts it down lower and to the right, and then it arcs it up. So it gives it that nice arc look over the camera too. It's not actually arcing. I mean, there is like forces being applied to where it's going, you know, straight up and slowly falling, but it's more of like a straight line and falling. Whereas this is kind of giving it a nice like lob look, and it is entirely visuals. The thing is because for network accuracy, for getting the grenade going where like players expect it to go, you don't want to like really put in that lob code. I mean, you could. It gets really complicated. It gets even harder to predict it if you do that. So instead, we just basically shoot it off in a straight line from the camera, and then we just make the visuals look like it's lobbing, and voila. Fake it till you make it. All right. So that's something to keep in mind, that if something's not perfect, then whatever. If you can get away with making it look good, that's all that matters. All right, so this thing, though, I'll have to look at that later. Grenades use RPCs. That's basically just saying that an RPC is sent to spawn the grenade. That's not... I don't think that's true anymore. It's not. It's done through the replicate now, but RPCs are still used for like the server sending a detonate, sending bounce audio and stuff like that. Because in order to do that audio locally, it would have to trace and move on its own path in real time and whatnot. And the grenades are sent back using network transformer RPCs. So this falls very slightly outside the replicate system, but it doesn't really affect anything. So for now, on first release, this is the way it's going to be. Eventually, it will be part of the replicate system fully. All right, so another issue is unequipped delay on weapons. The auto unequip does not seem to be used or working. Basically what that means is, that's another bug I'm working on. I was just trying to catch everybody up to where I was at. The fire rate one was the really funky one where it was firing slower on lower ticks, but that's obviously been resolved. So this thing is basically saying there's supposed to be a delay. Some weapons have auto unequip when you're out, like grenades. There's supposed to be a delay to where it switches to the new weapon after throwing the grenade. So if I throw it, you can see the switch is like immediately. It shouldn't be. There should be like a smaller delay. This is fixed, so I can get rid of this debug here. All right. Where's that at? Hey, welcome to the Fishnet team. Networking is a learning curve, no matter what. The more you use it, though, the easier it gets, and the easier you pick up on new stuff as well. All right. So, I don't know where this bit of code is. I need to find it. There should be some kind of unequipped delay. There's equipped delay. Ah, here we go. Automatic drop delay. I could probably use a rename, huh? We'll say automatic unequip delay. And as you can see here, it's not even used. Also, this is using serialized values and then using return values, but I'm probably going to simplify that to just have a field and not have this as a return accessor, just to make things a little bit more simple. You should probably know that if you shouldn't be touching the field. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but anyway. So there's a boolean here somewhere that's about auto unequip. Can equip empty. Automatically unequip delay, automatic weapon. What the heck is it? Where is it? Where is it? I honestly have no idea where that code is. Like it's organized somewhere. I just don't know what I'm looking for because I haven't touched this for so long. Oh, it's not gonna help. Sorry. Like I said, I just kind of woke up. Let's see. Not that. I'm gonna go to the weapon handler, I guess. Ignoring all this. Also, if you notice, there's like there's comments on everything, and there's things for to learn more as well. That's new. The learn more stuff is new, coming in the version 4. I'm going to add even more of that as I develop. It's just kind of things like the grenade trick I told you, just like a bunch of little tips and stuff. So maybe it's under weapon fire. So here's another thing that's under the to do, but I'm not gonna touch this just yet. This is where the reloading uses a curatein and it needs to use a take system. I'm gonna step away from the curatein for that for sure. Dude, I don't know where the heck this code is. I don't know. So let's just, I guess, go to check weapon switch. I should be under select first weapon. I don't know if that select first weapon tick is even used. Yeah, that's not even used. It was in the old version, but the code got simplified a lot and it's not used anymore. We're just gonna do this. I have a feeling it's calling select first weapon once the grenades are empty. My coffee got like room temperature. It's gross now. Need a grenade. Need a grenade. There we go. All right, throwing. There we go. There's our trace. All right, let's see. On clip remaining. Here we go. So on clip remaining change. First of all, life lesson for anyone that cares. Not a clip. Technically, it's a grenade in this case, so it's not a clip nor a magazine. But with firearms, typically a magazine. You can look up the difference if you want, but there's a difference between a clip and a magazine. And if you say the wrong thing, like I don't care personally, but if you say the wrong thing in front of someone that likes firearms, they will lose their shit. Let me tell you, like they're like, no, it's a magazine, not a clip. So just you look that up if you're curious. All right, so let's see. Update this one too. All right, so this is where we're doing if ammunition is empty after firing, in this case the grenade, and if you cannot equip empty, oh, that's where it comes from, because you can't hold 0 grenades in this case. This is just an example of using this feature. You could totally make it so you can hold 0 grenades, but it's set to where you cannot, just so you can basically see what that does. And that's just a simple Boolean toggle on the configuration. So what it does is it removes the weapon from the inventory, and then it selects the first weapon. This is probably where the select first weapon came into play, and that piece of code I just deleted where I was like, oh, that's not used. That's probably where that was supposed to be used. So what it's doing here is it's removing the item from the inventory, and then it's selecting the first available weapon immediately, which is your primary. Basically, the weapons are in order from best to worst, so select first weapon just selects the best one. If I throw it here, it should just hold with the hands up. Yeah. And this is what it would look like if you could basically hold no grenades. So what's supposed to happen, though, is we're supposed to be able to go over here, throw the grenade, and then the hand would be up for just a brief moment before it drops down and then selects the next weapon. But what's actually happening is it's immediately dropping the hands and going to the next weapon. And the thing is like, it doesn't look bad. It's kind of quick, but that's the issue. It's quick. It's too quick. That mechanic is just simply not working. So I need to fix that in. So let's see. Go back to this. This is the piece that's doing it. So there needs to be some kind of delay. The delay could be in remove weapon from inventory, or it could be in select first weapon. I think I'm going to put it in the select first weapon, and that's primarily because the grenades are gone. Like, they don't have the grenades anymore, and we want to remove those immediately. I don't think it will, but just thinking in general, if you're holding the grenade in your inventory for a certain amount of time, even though you just got rid of it, from a perspective of coding, that could probably create problems down the road. So instead, we're going to remove the weapon immediately, and then we're going to allow a weapon switch later. So I said I deleted something that wasn't used, and it was I probably left it there to be used to fix this particular issue. So let's go over here real quick and go to weapon handler and go back to that field I removed right here. Go back up. Where was this from? Just under, we'll just put it back right where it was before. It's right there. I should have known that I corrected it or planned to use it for later on, because it says select first weapon tick, and I'm pretty sure it used to be time. Everything used to be time based instead of tick based when I wrote this originally for Mare. So that should have been a good indicator. All right. So now we're gonna go to. Let's go back to update. Void update. Check reload, check fire, etc. I think what I'm going to do instead is, 1 second, sorry. I had a get up there that keeps doing a pop-up in my other window because it's saying you need to log in to access this. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to rename it to something else because it's kind of, so instead of select first weapon tick, we're gonna do weapon lockout end tick. I'm gonna rename it to that, and we're going to, you know what? Better idea. Change it back. Select tick one to select the first. Okay, so next thing, private bool can check weapon actions equals actually I guess it should be equals true if weapon actions such as firing, reloading, changing, and so on can be checked. So then we got the select first weapon tick. So basically it's saying, okay, so if the select first weapon tick is unset, then yes, you can check weapon actions. This way we can add in multiple conditions instead of, right now it's just the one. It's probably only going to be the one, but you can add in different conditions if you want. So now we're going to do something here. We're going to do if not let's see, I need a new method here. I'm gonna go up here. And this is not going to be client only actually, so I need to take that away from owner. Private bool unset I'm probably going to change the name of this. Can check weapon actions. True if can proceed with checking weapon actions such as firing, reloading, so on. This is obviously very similar to the field we just made in terms of name and whatnot. So first thing we're going to do, if can check weapon actions, we're going to return true. That's a fast exit. The second thing is if, you know what, I don't really need the first one. This doesn't make any sense now. All right, so we're gonna do, there's only one condition here, and that's right now the first thing. So if select first weapon tick equals time manager dot unset tick, then return true. So what we're going to do now is do, okay, so there's a fast way to do this, and then there's a more future-proofing way to do this. This is the fast way to do it, I guess, where I basically say this is the only condition that can block it, and if that's not set, then return true, then we can go ahead and do the checks. And then I could, if it's not true, then I could process it here and see if it's time to perform actions based on that timer. But since this is for can check weapon actions, there could be multiple checks. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do it this way. So if the select weapon tick is not unset, which means a certain amount of time does need to pass before it can be done. Also, this is a uint. Should probably be a precise tick. And this is because you can check weapon actions in between ticks in updates, so you want to use precise tick. All right, so if it does not equal on set value, then we're going to check the weapon switch tick. We're going to do if, well, let's just do time manager tm equals base dot time manager, precise tick current pt equals tm dot get precise tick, and there's supposed to be an equal sign there. There we go. I need to do tick type dot local tick, and now I'm going to do if current pt is less than select first weapon tick, return false. Basically, enough time has not passed for that condition to be met. So let's add a note. Select first weapon tick is still pending because enough time has. My cat's staring at me. Hold on. Okay, I had to pet my cat because enough time has not passed yet. This lockout condition continues. All right, so if we are here, basically saying not enough time has passed and we can exit. However, if we are at this block right here, if here the first weapon can be selected, and we're going to do that in a second. So here at the bottom, basically we're going to have potentially individual checks that could lock out weapon actions, and if you wanted to add another one in, like right here, you could do so and add the logic and so on. But if you make it down to the bottom, if here, then all conditions pass, which means you can then check weapon actions. All right. So 1 second. All right. So I don't think I'm going to return false on this no matter what, and I'll explain why in a second. I think I'm going to do if current PT is greater or equal to selected one, then I'm going to select the first available weapon. And well, I'm going to also unset the value here. Equals precise tick dot get onset value. And then I'm going to return false. And the reason is because the selecting the first weapon is the action being taken. It's going to block out other actions, and that's going to be the action taken. So I'm going to go back up to here under update, and this might be a slight problem that I'll have to make it server authoritative here. If not, can check weapon actions return. All right, let's see if this works on client host first. I can already tell this is probably going to be an authoritative issue or a potential hacking point. So somebody put a PR. Let's check out that PR in a second. All right, let's go over here, find that grenade. Well, I know it's still going to auto switch because I didn't set the timer based on it. So let's go over here. Got to do that. And on magazine remaining change, go here. We're not going to select the first weapon right away. Set the next time a weapon may be selected. So we're going to do if weapon dot automatic unequip delay is greater than 0f. We're going to do precise tick PT equals base.timemanager.get precise tick. Again, we're going to use the local tick type. Then we're going to do select first weapon tick. Let me actually cache the time manager reference here, because I am going to have to make calls to it more than once. Even with 2 calls, caching it can be quicker. Depends on how many leaps you're doing. So like this is just base.time manager. When leaps, I mean like jumps between different parts of memory. This is just doing base.time manager, but that's really doing base.network cache.time manager. So it's like 3 steps kind of. So it's 1 and then 2 and then 3. So we're caching it, the call, so we're skipping those steps next time. And yes, that does add up. That can add up really quickly, actually, if you're doing it a lot, like throughout various parts of the code. So now we're going to do select first weapon tick equals pt.add, and we're going to do tm dot time to precise tick, and this takes time as a double. So we're going to do weapon dot automatic unequip delay, and this is a float, I believe. I don't need this here. It needs to be cast to a double, which is a small amount of perf, but whatever. Oh, whoops. Wrong spot. Yes. The add method also requires a delta. I thought it had a... It doesn't have a delta. What is missing? Add has 2 parameters, but is invoked with 1 argument. Let's just check this out real quick, see what I'm missing. You know what? Additional time equals tm dot time to precise tick, and then it just takes the time as a double. All right, so the cast is redundant in that case. So now we're going to do pt.add, and we need to add on the additional time precise tick, and then the delta needs to be the tick delta. And the reason it takes a delta is because the add method is not part of the time manager. It's an extension to precise tick. It doesn't know what the delta is. Theoretically, I could cache this value, but it's just 1 jump, and I don't think it's really necessary in this case. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. All right, so now we're going to do, if there is no delay to automatically unequip, then do so immediately. So this is just a simple else statement. Dropped it in there. All right, let's see if that fixes it. Play. There we go. Didn't seem to want to start up for a second there. All right, so we should see it hang for a second. Yeah. Did you see that? How the hand stuck around for a little bit more? Perfect. So that means it's working. Just to be absolutely positively sure, I'm just going to take this and bump it to 2 seconds. The automatic unequip delay. Take this, throw it. Bam. Well, that's obviously not right. That shouldn't be going through the walls. That's minor. That's just a camera rendering thing. I'm not even worried about that. But it appears to be working. I don't know if... I feel like 2 seconds is obviously too long, and I feel like 0.2 is too quick. How long do you think it should take between throwing a grenade and being able to select the next weapon? 700 milliseconds? Yeah, that seems pretty good. I'm gonna go with 700 milliseconds. I like that. Okay. So 700 milliseconds, that's fixed. As I said, though, this is probably an authoritative issue. Because I just want to make sure that this should be also firing on the server. Because the weapon ammunition change happens for both server and client. Yes. But the issue here is void update. We're only running that check inside update, and only if you're owner. So that's kind of a problem. Yeah, I know. I mean, no FPS game is super realistic. Like, can you imagine throwing a grenade in an FPS game? Be like, all right, I'm just gonna twiddle my thumbs here for the next 3 or 4 seconds and get shot at. People get so ragey. So this is only done in update, but this actually has to be done in a replicate as well. We're gonna go down to replicate. So I'm wondering if I kind of just want to exit early in general and not do any of this. And just like this was for testing, that can go away. And just put it right here. I'm not actually sure how this is going to play out inside like a server and client authoritative environment, like separate server, separate client. Let me check something. Jeez. And it's too bad that the client one is still super broken. Okay, so I imagine without being able to test it, what's going to happen is an update the owner is going to check and they're going to set the inputs. They're like, okay, yeah, sure. Enough time has passed. I can set my inputs, and they're going to set the inputs. So that could be like a weapon switch. That could be firing, reloading, whatever. And then they're going to set that inside. Let me show you. There's a pulled updates. This is probably the wrong method. Here we go. Or pulled inputs, sorry. And it just stores basically like things that the player's doing between ticks. So what they're doing in subticks, like weapon switches, reloading, firing, etc. And then it takes those inputs and passes it into the replicate. So what's probably going to happen is a client will populate those inputs. They will pass it into the replicate, and then this is going to, of course, run again. Since these inputs are technically not actually really doing anything, you're just collecting inputs, nothing's going to change in terms of resetting timers, reducing ammunition, any of that, until this is all processed, because this is the logic that handles the inputs, all this. Otherwise, you're just collecting the inputs. So basically, you collect the inputs, and then this again just checks if weapon actions can be taken, and if not, it exits early. So let's say if you did a check and we were like, okay, can I switch a weapon? And this was done at tick 100, we'll just say 0.2, so 20% into the next tick. And the answer was yes, you can. Actually, let's go here. Can do weapon actions time restraint is set to 100.0. Yes, you can, because 100.2 is later than 100.0. So this is what it might look in the local check as well. So if you have like a time restraint, it's going to, okay, yeah, so the current precise tick is 100.2, and your restriction drop off was at 100. So what's going to happen is you're going to queue the inputs, and then you're going to get down to here, and I'm just going to copy this here. Again, this is just kind of explaining how this all works. This is a very important part in a way. It's strong. It's part of the anti-hack essentially, keeping the server authoritative and whatnot. And it is unique for timing things like this, but a lot of games rely on synchronized timing. A lot of games. So then you get this that says, "Can I switch a weapon?" And 120 is again. Well, this isn't really relevant. Can I switch weapon? Current. Let me do this. Current precise tick is 120. This was called an update before the replicate method during a subtick. Okay, can I switch weapon? Current precise tick is 100.2, etc. So I'm gonna take this. All right, this is being called now during the replicate. All right, can I switch a weapon? Current precise tick is 100 point, technically 100.99. This is, yeah, I mean, this isn't technically going to be 0.2 when you look at it from a math perspective, but we'll just pretend. Can I switch weapon? Current precise tick is 100.99. Can do weapon actions because the restraint was 100.0, and obviously 100.99 is larger than that. So yes, you can, because 100.99 is later than 100.0. So this would pass inside the replicate as well. So you should be good. I don't know if that made any sense. Like, if someone needs further explanation or has questions on that, just let me know, because I can see how that can be a little confusing. But basically the too long didn't read version is we're doing a weapon check inside a subtick, and if you can perform actions in that subtick, then enough time has passed in the subtick, which means in the replicate, if you're checking it again, then enough time has definitely passed inside the replicate as well, because it's happening after that subtick. And the difference is one is an owner check, basically the client running the simulation ahead of time or predicting it, etc. A1 is the server validating what the client's saying. So that appears to be working. Let's go ahead and back it up. Got a lot of stuff in here. I see. I forgot that Rider does that. This is kind of cool in a way if you want it to do this. Annoying otherwise. Basically, if you do a rename on a variable, it's like if I do like this, let's say if I put a Z there and I use the rename function, it'll add this, the formerly serialized as, which is really cool, like if that's your intentions, but I don't want it like that. In this case, I don't want it to do the formally serialized value. So get rid of that. All right, let's see. Fixes, weapon handler timings. Fixed weapon firing happening slower at lower tick rates. What else did we fix? Fix unequip delay on automatically unequip, not working at all. And I'm not going to put made server authoritative because everything is in this project server authoritative. It's impossible to cheat this project as is right now. I mean, obviously it's going to be that way entirely. That's the whole point of it. But yeah, so those are the changes, and then a minor change. I guess I don't need to note that. I was going to say noted the grenade, or I was going to put notes that the grenade auto unequipped has been changed from 200 milliseconds to 700. Not really needed because this is just kind of like a work in progress. So I'll just skip that note. All right, so that is resolved. Let's go back up to the weapon handler and remove that from the to-do. Nice. Update to-dos. Forgot to. There we go. All right. I'm going to change this real quick. First release to-dos. Later releases to-dos. Let's put this down there. I don't care that the grenades are using RPCs for the first release. As I said, it doesn't really affect anything. It just is outside the replicate method, but it's still anti-hack how it's done. Because throwing the grenades is part of the server authoritative bit. You can't throw them, like you can't hack throwing them. It's just how the grenades are synchronized to their clients, like what they see and stuff. That's using RPCs, and that it works completely fine. It's just I would rather the whole system use the, the tick system rather than RPCs and whatnot, just so you can, get a full understanding of what you can do and how to do it and so on. Okay, so the respawn method appears to be calling twice per respawn. That's probably something really simple. I'm not going to do anything else today other than just double check some things. So, don't even know what that's got to be under the player. Is there a player spawner? Yes, there is. Okay. So, which part of this is? I don't know which part is calling twice. I probably should have been more specific in my notes. That's on me. Should be easy to track down though. It might even just be like an event invoking twice, one for host or like server and one for client host. In which case, whatever, that's easy fix. All right, so ABC, that all invoked once, which is as expected, cleared out. I spawned on a grenade, which is perfect. Just gonna self-destruct here. Boom. Oh, snap. That's not good. Let's go find out what that is. Check fire. Okay, so this is very simple. It's basically saying weapon doesn't exist because it doesn't exist. Because I died. I'm not holding any weapons. So we're gonna do if not weapon is valid, return simple. gonna do this again. Here, grenade. Boom. Okay, ABC fired once, respawn. Interesting. So C did not fire that time, but it did originally. When we first spawned in. Let's take a look at that real quick. I know I was like, oh, I'm done, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. So I guess maybe that bug doesn't exist anymore. Which is very possible. Sorry, I'm just checking a few things with myself here before I say anything else. Yeah, so it is only happening once. That's good. So it might have been something else that was causing the double respawn, and I probably fixed it. There's a slight visual bug there. Seems pretty minor. I think it's something to do with like the death animation while you're trying to switch weapons before dying. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you saw it, but it's like a really weird... Like, you see how it like shows up the empty hands beforehand? I'll look into that. So the reason you're only getting the target character spawn though is because this happens only the first time the character spawned. Should probably say character updated. For the first time or as a brand new network object. So basically the reason this was only calling once is because this is whenever you first spawn in. It tells you what your character is when you first spawn in, and then when you die it uses object pooling. So you're not actually respawning the character, like you're not destroying and reinstantiating it, which could be very important. Because if you are destroying and spawning rapidly inside like a... trying to think of like I don't know what the game modes are called, but where you basically try to like level up your guns and stuff, and you're dying and spawning really quick, like death matches for example, but really fast paced ones. You could have a lot of despawns, spawns, initializations, and that could cost more, both CPU and potentially bandwidth as well, because of spawn messages and so on. So instead we just spawn once, and then we use pooling, and then we basically reinitialize, etc., which is much more efficient. Harder, more efficient though. So let me add notes here. I don't know if I want this as... I'm gonna set this under the first release. Switching weapons. Let me just make sure I'm able to replicate this the right way. Okay, switching weapons rapidly after throwing a grenade shows... Let's see if this can be done I think I know what's causing it. I'm just not 100% sure. Oh no, it does it with that too. Okay. Rapidly after throwing a grenade shows some kind of visual disturbance, which is corrected shortly after. One thing I do want to test here though, for my notes, because I really want my notes to be better this time. So if I can't like come back to this right away, I'm gonna change the automatically unequipped delay from 700 milliseconds to 2 full seconds, and I'm gonna go here, and I'm going to throw, and I'm mashing that button. Yeah, so it's obeying the automatic switch. It's just okay, which is corrected shortly after. The automatic weapon switch delay is being followed properly. Perhaps the issue is a race between automatically selecting the first weapon, then selecting another manually through numeric presses, for example. See if animator is updated inside. I don't think this is the case. Yeah, I'm not sure what it might be causing that. But basically what's going on is, as you saw the visual disturbance, is something's not quite right. It's like whenever you switch between a grenade to the knife, it should look just like this. I'll show you what it looks like with the auto switch without touching anything. Well, that went to the grenade to the gun, but same principle, I guess. That is unless I set the select first weapon to... I need to look into it further, but basically what happens is it should be a clean transition. But it's doing that weird artifact thing where it's like doing that, and I don't know why. So I need to look into that and see what's causing it. It's probably only visual, but I need to check into it. All right, so that's it for today. Hey, here we go. That's it for today. I resolved some stuff, found some more stuff, as it typically is with development. Oh, this was resolved too. This probably is, I don't know if that's already resolved or not. For example, if you run over a grenade, I don't know if it's adding it via the replicate or if it's sending like an RPC or something. So I need to do that. This is obviously stupid simple. I just need to make sure the namespaces are right. Reload failure needs to be reconciled / handled inside reconcile as well, potentially replicated. So basically right now, if you interrupt your reload, I don't think right now that is handled at all. Like the server will interrupt it as well. Like that works properly, but I don't think there's anything to handle correcting a desync. So like let's say if you're reloading and you interrupt it locally, like right near the end of the reload, but the server finishes because it takes moments for whatever interruption you did to send to the server, and that happens to send later than when the server successfully reloads. So you might think that your weapon is simply not reloaded, well, as the server thinks it is. I don't know if that's synchronized or not yet. I think it is, but I think it uses RPCs. So like I'm certain the first versions of these, version 3 synchronize the failure, but they use RPCs. I tore up so much of the code rewriting this, I'm not sure which one, if it even works properly at this time. But that is the whole point of a rewrite. This code was significantly, like way more complex before the rewrite. So, I just need to, I'm basically rewriting it. For like, when I say rewrite, usually it's like, okay, you can, it's more of like a refactor when you say rewrite, typically. But this is essentially a rewrite. I'm going from using RPCs for everything to using the replicate system and a prediction system. But it is resulting in significantly less code, way better results, etc. So for example, just one example here. If I go to the fire here, this is covered in the learn thing as well. But basically, what we're doing is we're taking the fire position where we start to fire from where the client was last tick and where they are this tick, and then lerping between that based on when they press the fire button. So this is subticking, essentially. So let's say if you pressed fire halfway between one tick and another and you moved 0.5 meters at that time. Let's say you move 1 meter per tick, right? So we'll keep it simple and you move half a meter halfway through a tick. What this is going to do is it's going to take your position between the first tick and the second tick and get the position via lerp based on when you pressed fire, be it 50%, 30%, or however much between the two ticks you press fire, and that's going to be the fire start position. That is full server authoritative. Previously, how it worked though, sorry, I was reading the chat. I'll get back to that in a second. So previously how it worked is the client sent the fire position and the server would do a check and say, okay, is your fire position within like 1.5 meters or 1 meters where it should be, whatever, and the server's like, okay, yes, that's close enough, you're probably not cheating. That was extra checks to, one, make sure the client was not cheating. Two, it wasn't perfect. The client could technically cheat that small window. Probably wouldn't be very beneficial, but it would be possible for them to cheat and offset their fire position very slightly within that window. And as I said, it's more logic. So this is just better. It's way more secure. It's hack proof, and it's less lines of code, less calculations, etc. Try throwing 2 grenades at yourself. What will happen? Well, you can't throw 2 grenades because there's time restrictions on throwing the grenades. One will detonate. I think one will detonate before the other one does, but I don't think it's going to do anything either way. Need another grenade. Need another grenade. Here we go. 2 grenades. There's audio at picking them up and whatnot. You just can't hear it. Okay. 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. Yeah, nothing happens. You die. Because the first one took me out. But even if you don't die, like if they're like glancing hits, you're still, it's going to do the same thing. See? Alright, so let's back this up with the notes and whatnot. What did I put here? 6 NRE, more notes. Check fire. Yeah. Updated method name to be more clear in player spawner. Alright, so that's it for today. Anyone have any questions in general before I pack up? There's a delay on the stream. It's about 15 seconds. So I'm going to wait a moment. Well, if you have any questions, type them out now. playing Jeopardy music in my head right now. The do 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 do. Still waiting a little bit longer just in case. Give people time to hear that there is a limited time remaining on the stream as well. Type out their question. Say 10 more seconds should be good. I gotta go finish my greenhouse. I guess you can call it an update, but it's more like a reconstruction. My greenhouse got annihilated by the last hurricane. Like, I mean, completely freaking destroyed. And it was like reinforced and everything. And I'm so glad I staked it down to the ground because nothing would have gone flying. It did stay stuck to the ground, but the frame couldn't handle the winds and it just like twisted like a pretzel. Okay, so live stream is a good starting point in the series. I noticed you said you were rewriting the code. If you want, but I didn't really I didn't document all my changes. Like, not everything is shown. I work on it sometimes off camera. It's more of if you're just curious to watch something, to like learn things here and there. It's not going to show you how to make a game from scratch or how to make a shooter from scratch or anything like that. It's mostly just if you're, background noise, you're looking to learn stuff, things like that. That's kind of the only use of watching these videos or these streams. So I was out fishing a canal earlier, and apparently my friend drove by and I didn't see them, but I got a message while fishing. They're like, "Go home. There's nothing at that bridge," because they've been in Florida a lot longer than me, and they fished like all the spots. Jokes on them. I actually caught something though. It wasn't anything good, but there was definitely bigger stuff there. I could see it. I could see it chasing smaller stuff. But yeah, what's funny though is I did catch a lot of plants, like freshwater plants. And what I thought was really, really funny is as I'm pulling up these plants, I'm like, these are the same ones you see in fish stores for like that are sold for like $5 to $7 a plant. And I'm literally just like, they're just getting caught on my hooks and I'm just pulling them up by the pounds. Like, I probably pulled up $50 worth of plants without even trying. It wasn't even intentional. I was just trying to fish. And I was like, well, guess I don't need to go buy plants for my fish tanks now. I am, of course, I inspected them, make sure there's no pest on them. They're being treated. They're sitting in a separate thing of water when treating stuff. I'm gonna leave them there for a good week before I actually introduce them. But there's other stuff too. Like, you got the there was floor plants, and there was a lot of the top water stuff like water lettuce, something else that looks like Venus flytraps. There was which sits on the top. There was like 3 or 4 different of those, and I've seen them all go for sale in pet stores. It's crazy. Like, literally, I can just pull this stuff out of the canal minutes from my house. I'm thinking about opening another shop just for freshwater plants now. Just money really does grow on trees down here. But yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Well, I guess it doesn't really grow on trees so much as it grows underwater in this case. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. I'll try to get another stream done at some point in the week. Even if I don't, I will most definitely put progress towards FPSLand. So next stream might be a little time jump. I don't know. But thanks for watching. I'll be around in a little bit. I'm going to take a break. And so if you want to chat later or whatever, just feel free. I'll be on Discord. All right. See ya. Take care.